everybody, welcome to The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pantelleresco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. You can access the show by typing in www.themicroeffect.com. Click on the appropriate links, the chat room links. Come on in, make friends, get acquainted, solve some issues. Hello? Not hearing me? Hello? Okay, anyway, solve some issues, get together, create some ideas, cooperate. I'm also published at several different sites like www.health-access.com, buyebluesky.com, and a host of other places. So feel free, and on the YouTube as well, Herbs Plus Beadworks on YouTube. So feel free to check out these places, which publish articles on health, remedies, and general information going on worldwide and right here at home. This program is designed to help you keep your health and to show viable and inexpensive alternatives that can keep you and your family healthy and to remove unwanted illnesses that may occur in our lives from time to time, making you aware that not all that's supposed to be safe is, and in some cases allowing to understand the hidden dangers and possible solutions to prevention or protection of your health. I've been in the health food industry as well as a personal consultant and bodybuilder trainer, and now into all kinds of pulsing remedies. Assisting people in finding health solutions, and have utilized different healing modalities from different cultural themes as well as in herbs, supplements, vitamins, essential oils, and foods. You can access me by going to my website at augmentinforce.com, augmentinforce.com. I also do personal consultations as well through the internet, through the IMs, phones, personal visits, as well as in-house workshops for families, individuals, or groups. If you go on my website at augmentinforce.com, there you will see a catalog link where you can find things that we have. There are flash drives, 32 gig flash drives with a high-profile database. We have books on DVDs, separate or together. We have buckets, we have pails, we have remedies of all kinds listed on that page, so feel free to peruse it. And if you're looking to find out where to send the funds, there are links there saying where to send the funds, so click on those links. If you're in Canada, send to Canada. If you're in the U.S., send to the U.S. And please, when you do send stuff and write me letters, place in your letter what you're ordering. Then you will minimize any delay in your order. Because I've been getting response saying, where's my stuff? And I don't know what you want because you didn't tell me. So put that in there if you would. That would help me considerably. Anyway, we have all those things at the site, so feel free to go augmentinforce.com. And again, click on the catalog link. For any questions or comments you'd like to make on the show, feel free to do so pertaining to the content of the show. You can reach me also at 519-977-5351 or send me an email at independs@yahoo.com. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to make on the show, feel free to do so. Keep it pertinent to the show, not politics or way out there things. And if you want to call in, feel free to do so at 1-208-935-0094. And today is September 30th, 2017. And you know what? We are still here. Anyway, as per usual, my weeks usually, roll from one day to the next. And, I get calls from all over. From different things, from different themes. More and more people are waking up to the reality of being infected with nano. I was looking at some research this week on nanobacterium, something that they discovered some time back. And even NASA was looking at it. And they were able to extrapolate a strain that came out of Iceland. And this bacterium sounded a lot like the nano we're dealing with today. It was really interesting. It was radiation resistant, heat resistant, light resistant. It self-replicated, so it wasn't a virus. It attached itself to the proteins and DNA of its host to integrate itself with the host. Sounds a lot like the nano. And there was a third thing that it did. And it basically overwrote the DNA. Now, how interesting this is that we have an actual life form, again, perpetrated to be a life form. And the article came from a perspective about calcification and how this is the hidden bacteria that's in all of us, causing us to basically die, literally, causing calcification throughout the body. You know, the arthritis you have, the joint pains you're suffering, the osteoporosis, all these diseases pertaining to calcium or calcification is tied to this bacterium. Now, how interesting that this bacterium can actually interface with a person or whatever it touches and basically cause an accelerated breakdown. And then it got me thinking, how would we get this bacterium? How would this be possible for us to get this bacterium? Because it's coming out of Iceland. So then I thought about it some more in regarding to nanotechnology, nanobiology, synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, because this is all interconnecting, basically altering our very core of our genetic code to become more intertwined with technology by assimilating us through our DNA, through our genetic code, through our mitochondria, through our cells, and even to our core parts. We won't. If you were completely assimilated to the artificial intelligence, there would be no need for even reproduction. The organs would probably be faded out. That's happening. That's happening as we speak. Through transgenderism, we are eliminating the need to procreate. We are eliminating the need to expand our genetic lines or expand our bloodlines. Sometimes I don't know if that's good or bad. Reason why I say that is not that I'm against procreation. I'm against what we're bringing them into. Imagine having to bring a child into this planet and being forced to vaccinate. Somebody from England today or the United Kingdom sent me an article in regard to this new combination of cocktail vaccines they're putting out there and the issues that it's causing. And a lot of these things have never, ever been proven to work. They give you some statistics about stuff, but they're not even accurate, not even remotely accurate. And when we're looking at the earlier concept I was talking about in regard to, nanobacterium, a lot of this could have been installed into all of us through the very vaccination program that's there. And it's not a stretch. And the other thing about nanobacterium, because we have trillions and trillions of chemical reactions going on in the atmosphere today in regard to nanotechnology, nanobiology, nano interface, bacterium has now left earthbound bacterium that was bound to the earth has now gone up into the atmosphere because now it has a medium for it to attach itself to leap from the earth to the air, to the atmosphere. So that could make something like this extremely transmissible. And if you don't have a healthy immune system or a healthy genetic code, if you somehow been compromised, if you somehow been, made to be dysfunctional, if your genetic code or your DNA has been altered, so instead of reacting to a situation where the body would need to defend itself and have absolutely no defense activated, the surmountable effect that something like this can have could be extremely devastating and could be very, very difficult to recover from. So this is the nature and the violation that's going on right now in the Earth's atmosphere. And there was a guy named David Keith who wanted to go to Arizona to fly a balloon to release three components into the air: sulfur, calcium, and I forget the third one. But the calcium was interesting now looking back, because the calcium may be the medium that this bacteria may need to again utilize in its uptake. The whole concept, what's going on today in regard to us getting sick, us being afflicted, is not a normal biological process anymore. It's more of an intertwined, integrated biotech infection. The biological agents have now been integrated with a program, an operating system that allows it to be smarter than our immune system, that allows it to attach itself to our immune system, it allows it to integrate with us through all kinds of means, on the cellular level, tissue level, DNA level. And so the moment we get exposed, we don't even know we've been exposed. And as a result, you go through a process of degenerating or breaking down. And it's a painful process, especially when your system is not adequately equipped to fight it, or your immune system has been adequately turned off. And when it has become turned off, you are wide open for an outbreak in your system. This, I believe, has been the intent all along. When we're looking at transgenderism, I was explaining this to somebody earlier today. 50 years ago, this didn't exist. But after 5 decades of exposure to transgenic foods, epigenetic damaging foods, epigenetic damaging atmosphere, biodestructive elements that we've been exposed to, and then the incorporation of tech into the system, it is creating anomalies we've never seen. I can foresee a point in time where the human race will not get past the age of 40. They may not need to even get to the point of procreation. They'll be dead. The disarming of the human race with biological agents in regard to vaccinations alone is incredibly alarming. That anybody today would still be under the impression that these things actually work. The eyes of people today are so caught up on the veneer and the exposure of marketing campaigns and ads that they've actually started believing that these things are real. Hitler himself stated, you tell the people a lie long enough, they will believe it. And that's what's happened. The campaign by the medical industry, by the pharmaceutical industry, has projected this idea or this concept that they have an answer with a pill or with a vaccination. These vaccines, the parents don't even ask what's in them. This is what's even more phenomenal to me, that the level of blissful trust is beyond anything I would have ever done. Knowing what's going on today, and seeing the effect of, everybody being sick. Every time you turn around and talk to somebody else is sick. And this has become the accepted norm today. Even that has become accepted. Hey, you're sick. Yeah, so am I. You know what I mean? Back then, one person was sick. Oh, that poor person. Oh, that poor person's got blah, blah, blah. Now, everybody's got it. And this has become the accepted norm. And then you have the medical people. Some are so bloody stupid. It amazes me that they actually got a certification. They're so stupid, some of them, and so caught up with the program brainwashing that none of them read. You know, it's funny, once you get a degree in some kind of medical science or chemical science, basically you stop learning. You now have reached the goal. You are it. You are the epitome of intellect. You now know it all. You know how to treat everything. In any new development, any new factor in science is completely refutable because you have now graduated and now you have the arrogance, of King Kong. None of these medical people, well, I shouldn't say none, a handful of medical people actually investigate some of the things going on. Even some of the publications that are out there today and what they're saying, a lot of times, I get people sending me ads and how they read something and how this is supposed to be some wonderful whatever. And I write them back and tell them this is just a marketing campaign. It does the complete opposite. But a lot of you don't understand how this is done. A lot of you don't understand the nature of the deception being pulled over your eyes, so you fall into it. Okay? I'm going to talk to you about one way to look at the new deceptions that are coming even out of the health food industry. There's a product come out now with the oil. It's an oil-based product. And when you read the content, it states it's got fullerenes in it. Fullerenes. And it's an antioxidant mixture that they've come up with that's supposed to turn back the hands of time. Very powerful anti-aging element. And when you read the components of it and you understand nanotechnology, you begin to realize this is a major hijack. But to the common person who's ignorant and blissfully stupid, they read this thinking, wow, this is going to really retard my aging. This is really going to do something here for me. Not knowing the nature of the nano in it, and what they've done is they've turned the nanotechnology into a form of a liposome. So now it's delivered into the body, gets in, and now it has access and starts its assembling, or translocation, or damaging liver and brain. But this is not what they read. What they read is this new wonderful oil that's got this component in it, and it's a complete hijack. And when you're looking at this stuff, and you see this stuff, and you read the wonderful reviews on it, it's nothing but a smokescreen and nothing but a hijacking. So the key things that you got to look out for these days is anti-aging, number one, longevity, okay, because they're going to sell you on that longevity concept. And this is what, and because everybody wants to live longer. Today, I'm not sure why, but I mean, look what you got to look forward to. A world war. But anyway, these are some of the caveats that they're going to use in order to sell you nanotechnology. Nothing that has nano in it in regard to metals of any kind have any benefit whatsoever. None. And even some of the proteins and polymer material that they're putting in some of these things, again, you have to be careful what you're eating. So, because majority of these products coming out today with any form of nanotech in it is absolutely lethal. Has no place in you. And when you're looking at something wrapped up in a fat or an oil, you have to think it's a delivery method to ensure it penetrates, permeates, and gets into the system and then causes irrefutable damage. It's a hijacking waiting to happen. And more products are going to come out like this. And I'm going to explain to you another concept here. Somebody contacted me this week and let me know there's a company now that's selling a protein product that's going to reduce the protein. with this nonsense about the energies in the universe and the cosmic consciousness and all this other happy horse hockey. And when we're looking at this stuff, when you look at companies that do this, number one, they're on their way out the door. They're ready to go broke. They're on their way. They're finished. Number two, when somebody does this, then the onus is on you to understand how much protein your body needs in order to function, whether you're sedentary or whether you're active. When you're active, you take 0.8, multiply it by your body weight in pounds, and that's how many grams you're going to need if you're active. So let's say you're a 100-pound person. Multiply by 0.8, that gives you 80 grams. Okay, 80 grams of protein is what you need. Let's say you're a sedentary person. You're not active, and you basically sit on your butt and work at a desk. Okay, so your protein levels are going to be multiplied by 0.6. And that'll give you about 60 grams of protein, which is about what you need in a day in order to sustain a healthy body. Now, when you're looking at buying protein, you're looking for several different things. One, the absorption. Two, the cleanliness of the protein. Does it have synthetic sugars? Does it have fibers in it? Does it have coloring agents? Does it have, artificial natural flavoring agents? Does it have soy in it? These are things you're looking for. Now, if I'm getting a protein that is clean, and it's giving me 25 grams per serving, per scoop. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's going to give me the maximum amount that I can absorb at one serving, which is 30 grams, unless you're active, and you can go up to 40. And if you're taking steroids or any kind of anabolic, then you can go up to 60. But if you're using a protein, you want it clean, you want the uptake to be high, and you don't want it mixed with anything. Now, what this fellow is going to be doing is he's going to be adding more carbohydrate to it or more sugar. What that's going to do is going to give you a certain sense of euphoria. Yay, I got energy, woo-wee, because you're getting a sugar rush with the insulin spiking, and you're also getting the protein being spiked very rapidly and very quickly into the body. It's a false sense of energy. So when we're looking at what we're doing today, when we're looking at the nanos today and what they're doing today with it, and what they're doing today with these products, and some of the games being perpetrated in regard to what companies are doing, this is where the onus comes on you. If someone is going to refer to something with this high universal consciousness and energy and blah, 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 when all it really boils down to is a simple biology or biological process, then you know not to get sucked in. It's a game, it's a con, and you're about to be taken for a ride. You have to understand, I've dealt with bodybuilders, I've dealt with proteins, I've dealt with all kinds of supplements that, some worked really well, some didn't. And so when you hear somebody making some stupid remark in regard to, the energies and the universe and the frequencies and blah, 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 and all that stuff, hang on to your wallet. Hang on to it. It's just pure bollocks. Nonsense. It's to get you to part, a fool and his money are soon departed. Don't be a fool. Hang on to your money. Because that's the nature of what's going on today. Do your reading, do your research. Don't just do some research and that's it. You've got your research. Test your research. Test your research. Test your research. Tony, I read the other day that a woman bodybuilder died from eating too much protein. That's not what would have killed her. It's kind of impossible to die from protein overload. It would be more the fact that she died from not eating enough carbs or enough fat or getting enough nutrients. Back in the 70s, they came out with this amino acid diet, protein diet, where you just ate nothing but protein. Protein, 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 protein. And what wound up happening, people started to die because they neglected to eat some carb, they neglected to eat some fat, they neglected to eat other foods that would have given them mineral and vitamin nutrients. There are cultures all over the world that live on protein and don't die. But like I said, their diet is not just strictly protein. I eat a very high protein diet. I also eat a high fat diet. And I do use fruits and potato as my carbohydrate. I don't always eat those all the time, but I do get some form of carb. And I do get a mineral, and I take mineral supplements because I know the food doesn't have it. So she didn't die of a protein overload. That's more hysteria being propagated. You got to remember, I've been at this game for a long time, and I've seen, over 40 years, and I've seen just about everything under the sun written. So when you're looking at some of the stuff that they're telling you in regard to somebody died of, ephedrine, they would have had to inject it in order to kill themselves. So again, don't get sucked in with this. Like I said, get to know your body, get to know physiology, get to know what really works with the body and how much protein you can take. I mean, there are bodybuilders out there taking 300 grams of protein a day, if not more, and they're still alive. So she would have had to have cut out everything else and lived on that for something like that to happen, unless the protein she was using was contaminated. So, when we're looking at some of the stuff today that, again, they're propagating as some kind of fact, 90% of the time it's fiction. And when you're reading some of the stuff in the mainstream media, I would say majority of the time, 100% of the time it's fiction. Once in a blue moon, though, they do come up with some truth. But majority of the time, they don't have a clue. Anyone that's still propagating to eating soy as a protein source, again, this is just pure baloney. When you're looking at a lot of the ads today, how men need testosterone and women need this and men need that, just to function as a normal human being, what is that saying to you about the endocrine system? What is that saying to you about the health of the individuals later on in life? They're not healthy. So again, when we're talking, some of the things that we're dealing with, it's up to you really to pay attention and observe and study. There's no way, like I said, some of these things that they're telling you somebody has died from. And like I said, and you wouldn't really know this unless you're actually involved in the field or you're involved with people and you begin to see what really can kill you. And when we hear people taking exorbitant amounts of protein and not dying at all, in fact looking pretty good, but they're also taking other things, that's what makes or break it. When we're looking at myth, mayhem, and distortion, we're loaded with it. Trying to see past the haystack, trying to find a needle in the haystack can be a challenge. The lies are layered upon layered upon layered, and it's going to be up to you to sort of scoop off the layers to get to the truth. All right, come on back, and when you come back, we're going to get more into what we need to look at. All right, see you in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pentelleresco. During the break, someone made mention that 5G was put into Washington and all of a sudden Zika virus broke out. That's one of the 11 states that's initiating 5G. New York, Michigan, Florida, California. I'm thinking Arizona was the other one. And there's a couple more. I can't think of one. Some in the Midwest. Not sure if it was Idaho or Utah. One of them was getting it as well. It's going to be the reality, and it's going to be the means to target people and means to activate biological, or I should say synthetic biology. Yeah, okay. Hey, Tony, have you heard anything about, that's what I was just talking about earlier, DRE, if you had paid attention. I was mentioning about that oil product that had the fullerene in it, that's the one I'm referring to. I'm not going to give it any credence, but if you ask the question, you know, DRE, what I was talking about. It's nano. It's a hijack. It's a liposome to deliver a fullerene content to your system to have your DNA rewritten. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. You're going to see a lot of this, and as I stated to a lot of you in the last segment, okay, in the last before the break, you're going to hear terms like longevity, anti-aging, you know, anti-whatever. The moment you see the term nano, fullerene, angstrom, monatomic, ultrafine, synthetic atom, polyfullerene, dendrimere, keep your wallet in your pocket. Because I don't really want you guys calling me after you tried these products and saying, I've got nano poisoning now. How do I get it out? Because then then it's going to be a chore getting this out. Okay, as I stated in the earlier segment, get a chance, go back and re-listen. A lot of products now are going to have nano, and that has it in it. And that product is basically a liposome delivery method to deliver fullerenes into your system, which are nano constructs which, again, assemble in your body and take over your code, your biology. So when you see stuff like that, leave it alone. Seriously, leave it alone. And I'm going to tell the general audience that's listening today, you need to go to my site and you need to start reading and studying the information that is there, because, you know, I can only say what I'm saying for so long before I realize that you're not paying attention. You need to read. You need to study. You need to understand what's going on with nanotechnology, synthetic biology, because if you don't, you are going to get sucker punched in the health food industry. The health food industry, I've said this many a time, ain't what it used to be. It is not in any way, shape, or form healthy, and in fact sells you a lot of compromised supplements. Microcrystalline cellulose, artificial natural flavor, nano delivery, soy, aluminum, titanium, you know. So when you're looking at these products coming out now, they're all going to jump on the bandwagon, and it's going to be one big hijinks coming on, and it's going to cause you a lot of problems. You're going to go to the health food store thinking you're getting some kind of anti-aging, longevity, or immune protecting product, because that's going to be the big show and tell. And it's all going to be tied to nanotechnology on some level. And when you start using these products, initially you're going to say, oh wow, this is so good, I feel great, blah, blah. And then within about a month or so, holy crap, do I feel bad. Some of you will respond right away to, oh man, this is not good. Oh yeah, okay. Tony, have you seen the commercial for a company called 23andme.com? They want people to send them a DNA sample, and they say it's for determining your real lineage. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Nobody has the right to your DNA except you. This is a con, again, because once I have your DNA, I can hit your DNA with a frequency anywhere on the planet and cause you to collapse. Your DNA resonates a frequency. Okay? This is a setup, again, to collect data on you. This is a form of data mining. So, in regard to these kind of things, Don't be stupid. Don't be sucked in. You know, this is what I'm saying. They're going to play on your themes, whatever it is you think you got. You want to know if you're part of the Jewish race. You want to know if you're part of the African race. You want to know if you descended from Moses or Muhammad or Buddha or what. I mean, this is stupid stuff to begin with anyway. It's of no consequence. But and they'll play that on you, and so that you send that information in willingly. You give them a piss test, a saliva test, or whatever test, and you send it to them, and now they have access to you. You have just opened the door to be violated. People who are targeted individuals, the reason why they're targeted individuals is primarily because they have inside of them nanotechnology that's resonating their DNA, their RNA, and they can be hit, and they are being hit. So don't volunteer any personal information like that to any institution. Okay? Don't, again, allow any information that's personal about you to be released. You shouldn't even be paying things on a computer with your credit card. Unless you got one of those pay-as-you-go, then you can dump it. So when we're looking at the components that's going on today that's being sold and the things they're trying to sell you, Tony, do you know if you are an RH blood type? I don't think so. I keep forgetting what my blood type is, but I'm not an RH. Well, I don't think I'm not an RH. Some kind of negative, but I forget which one. I have to keep asking my mom that because I have no idea. This is what I'm saying earlier. Do not give out any personal information, especially when it comes to your genetic code, especially when it comes to your DNA. That is your personal ID. That's who you are, what makes you what you are, the whole 9 yards. You do not surrender that under no circumstance. Okay, no matter how enticing it may be or how cool it sounds. You might be related to Genghis Khan. Ooh. Genghis Khan is dead. You're here. Worry about the here and now. Because where we're heading is not going to be a good place. And you need to start preparing. Again, I haven't talked about prepping for a long time, but in the days and events that are going to manifest, if you haven't started prepping, you might want to start. Start with water. Start with dried milk. Start with gelatin. Start with potatoes. Start with egg, dried. Can you explain why we shouldn't pay online with credit cards? Are you kidding me? Oh, you got to be kidding. Your credit card is access to you, unless you're using one of those pay-as-you-go, where you're putting money on the card and then you're using it. But your internet lines at home are not secure. You have no security in your home line. Anybody, these false things they give you, like the 360 or AVG or all that other crap, that's a monitoring system. And the moment you use your credit card, you are wide open to be hacked, and it goes on all the time. If you're buying something from a company online, call them on the phone. Deal directly with them on the phone. Like I said, unless you got to pay as you go, because then the pay as you go has really nothing there on you other than the fact that you have actually put money in there. But never ever use your credit card. Are you kidding me? Your home lines are not secure in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and then, well, haven't you ever noticed? Just in the simplest little aspect here. Haven't you ever noticed that when you go on a site all of a sudden, when you open up an email, you got all this advertisement on the right side of your email of all the places you've been to and things you were looking at. Your systems are being monitored. The AI is monitoring morning, noon, and night. Your credit card is, again, part of your personal information. Never use it online. Call the companies. Deal direct. Best way to do it. So unless you got one of those pay-as-you-go. Then if you get hit or hacked on that, no big deal. Your internet, your computer at home has no security, contrary to what they tell you. And the secure lines may be secure on their end because they are a business, but home lines have no security. They're constantly being hacked, and people put some of the stupidest information on their computer, like, for instance, their bank information, their bills, everything they do on there. And basically, all it takes is one incident where you're tracked and hacked, and you lose everything. So, again, don't allow yourself to fall into the zone of stupidity because they've coddled you into stupid. That is your personal information. Anything about you, do not give out. Don't allow yourself to be swayed by stupid because that's what they're doing. So, yeah, basically, if you're going to use a credit card online, I find that the credit cards, the best ones to really use are the pay-as-you-go. These things are awesome. You put so much on there, you use it, you're done. And then the item is paid for. You do not have to go back and worry about a monthly statement. They're great. So when we're looking at, all the things that, are going on today, seriously, don't be naive to be that trusting. The internet is not something you would trust. Look at all the propaganda going on at morning, noon, and night. Then you get the truth, which is buried under tons and tons of propaganda. So again, credit cards, use them direct. If you got to buy something with a credit card, call the company you're buying. That's what I do. If I see something on a site and they want me to order, I call them up. And if they say I have to use a credit card, I'm done. I move on. That to me is one of those things that's a setup for your information to be bought and sold. And I don't feel like making somebody rich off my personal information. So again, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Yeah, there you go. So, like I said, even at a gas station, whatever, have cash. Learn to carry cash again. Some things, it's, and if you sit there and think about it, seriously, the interest you're paying, the fees you're paying to use a credit card, it doesn't really pay to use one unless there's a super duper deal of a lifetime or you're in business and you need to buy equipment and then try to pay it off at the end of the month. If you're not paying your credit card off at the end of the month, man, you're crazy. That's compounded interest. You don't come out ahead on that at all. You lose on every front. And then they get you on, if you use your credit card, you get air miles. You get all these miles. And it's like, we're playing games. I'm going shopping because I need to buy stuff, not because I want to play a game. They always ask me, you got air miles? I say, no, I got feet miles. I walk everywhere, How come I don't have a card for that? So again, don't be stupid. Don't be anybody's fool. Don't be anybody's dope. Don't be anybody's, hooker. Getting screwed. That's where we're at today. That's the world we live in. Yep, exactly. We are no longer in 1970. Ethics and morals have gone down the toilet, and even with the companies you're buying stuff from with a credit card, you don't even know if they're legitimate. Call them up, deal direct, then you know. Alrighty, belabor that point for a while there. We are talking about being hijacked with being hijacked with this bacterium, and how bacterium that this nanobacterium that they found, the strain, can now be airborne. It's very, very likely that we have so many different things going on right now in the atmosphere because, A, we no longer know what's up there anymore. In fact, they are stating that they just came up with a device this year that's able to start to interpret what chemical reactions have gone on in the last 30 or 40 years, and it's going to take them another 20 to figure it out. And when we're looking at these kind of things, the airborne infections that you're going to be getting will be very easy to pick up because of the nano inside of you already. It can attach to this. Okay, what does biofilm do? Biofilm is a bacterium that your body produces as a defense mechanism in order to contain or to remove materials in the body that don't belong. Now, what happens with a synthetic? Biofilm in your body will swarm to it. So then what happens? If it then can't get it out, it tries to contain it. What happens with nanobiology? It uses your biofilm to assemble a fullerene, to extend itself and to, again, build a network in you. What happens if a nanobacterium gets inside? Oh, it's going to have a heyday. Because the nanoparticulates, which would already be encased in biofilm, will just now integrate itself with that genetic or that DNA and propagate. So we're going to need to know how to defend ourselves against these kinds of attacks. We are no longer going to deal with a simple biological agent. We are no longer in those days where a simple flu or simple measles or certain simple chicken pox or simple common cold can be treated with very simple remedies. Got measles, 100,000 IUs of vitamin A will take it out several times a day. You know, if you got a bacterial infection, something simple as rosemary or sage or thyme or, you know, some kind of bark from some trees will take it out. Quercetin can take it out depending on the bacteria. If you got a mold or an algae infection going on, something simple as a copper will take that out. Got something like a polio, copper and ascorbic acid will take it out. So you have to recognize today that what we have today is mutated, integrated, and updated itself. And you don't have the defense qualities you should have because the majority of you have been vaccinated, which has shut down proteins and DNA response mechanisms that would activate your immune system in order for your body to resist. You know? So again, when we're looking at what we're going to do, we're going to talk about it in the second half because we're running out of time and we've got to get, you know, certain things out yet, and then we'll talk about these things in the second half because we're going to need to learn how to defend, and you're going to need to know what to grow, what to plant. If, say, you got an indoor garden, what kind of minerals you're going to need to take, what kind of amino acids you're going to want to use in your profile, because these are going to be all key players in, again, regulating protein in the body to be able to fight off the infection or to ward it off. The combination of things that may work in synergy in order to, again, break some of these things down. We are going to need to become better chemists, better biologists. And as far as listening to the gurus of today, that needs to be curtailed dramatically because a lot of them don't have a clue. All they do is sell products. They're just like the pharmaceutical pimps, and they're out there to hijack you or to keep you in a state of compromise so you keep on buying useless materials that don't work. Tony, did you say in your video that when you take alcohol and thyme essential oil, it will take it out in one application? No, never said that. I said you may need to use 1 or 2 drops in the alcohol and apply it Sometimes it can work that way. Most times it doesn't. Sometimes it can take a day or 2 days of using it or longer depending on the type of infection you have. Basically, I say use 1 or 2 drops of thyme or savory or thyme or wintergreen or thyme or birch or thyme or cinnamon, combination thereof, in order to, again, knock out biofilm. These are things you're going to have to do daily. There is no way, Arugula, that you are going to be able to take one thing today and beat whatever. Unless you got some kind of divine protection. Unless God's got his hand over you and you are, got this invincible shield around you that God has put there, not going to happen. You are going to be needing things and doing things because you are exposed to a multiple array of things going on daily around you. From the air you're breathing, you're loaded with tons and tons of nanoparticles. Your home is saturated with them. If you were to use a laser, you could see them with a laser. You're eating stuff with nano, you are breathing it, you're drinking it, you're wearing clothing with different nano exposures. No way you're going to be able just to do it with one little thing. Even if you've gotten infected, that means your immune system was compromised for it to break down. So it's going to take more than one application. Before I go on, the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Give them your support. Show them that you're interested in keeping them going, keeping them flowing. What do you think? Support the Micro Effect. Give them a call. Say hi. Hey, I want to support you. I got Bye Bye Blue Sky with Susan Marr and Gag Canada with Bernadette Green. Up here, 2 activists out here trying to get people's awareness, trying to get people up and running in things of chemtrails and their rights and things that are going on. So again, check out their sites. Give them your support. Ask what you can do for your activists. Ask not what you can do for your activists. Ask not what your activists can do for you, but ask what you can do for your activist. Sounds like a good idea. Then you got me down here at 519-977-5351 or independs@yahoo.com. We have a website, augmentinforce.com. In that site, we have a catalog link. In that catalog link, we have t-shirts, we have buckets, we have triangles, we have repulsors, we have grounding straps. We also have remedies. We have books on DVDs. We have a flash drive, 32 gigs with a complete database library all in one. So if you're interested, feel free to give me a call. I also do consultations as well, 519-977-5351 or independs@yahoo.com. Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at this. I got that done in 2 minutes exactly. Used to take me 5 minutes and stuttering. When we're looking at what we can do, there are tons of things we can do. I'm going to give you a couple examples. I'm going to give you a couple of things in the next segment, what we need to be aware of, what we need to be prepared for. Start researching now. Not tomorrow, not in a week, not in a year. Start researching now how to block EMF shielding. Go look at the patents on it. How to block radio frequencies. Go look at the patents on it. How to block microwave frequencies. Go look at the patent on it. You are going to have to look at what we are doing today for tomorrow, because they've already started initiating it today. It'll only be about a year before it's up and running. All right, come on back to the second half. We're going to get more into this so we can get ready to rumble. All right, talk to you in a bit. Hey, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pantelleresco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. You can access the show by typing in www.themicroeffect.com. Then click on the appropriate links, the chat room links. Come on in, make friends, get acquainted, solve some issues, save the planet, cooperate. You never know what you might come up with. I'm also published at byebyebluesky.com, www.health-access.com, and have videos on the YouTube, www.youtube.com, and then type in Herbs Plus Beadworks or type in Tony P or Tony Pantelleresco, and you'll be surprised what you might learn from the tube. We also publish information on health, remedies, and personal hold on a second. Where am I at? Publish general information going on worldwide right here at home. This program is designed to help you keep your health and to show viable and inexpensive alternatives It can keep you and your family healthy and to alleviate or remove unwanted illnesses that may occur in our lives from time to time, making you aware that not all that's supposed to be safe is. In some cases, allowing you to understand the hidden dangers and possible solutions to prevention or protection of your health. I've been in the health food industry as well as a personal consultant and bodybuilder trainer, assisting people in finding health solutions, and have utilized different healing modalities from different cultural themes as well as in herbs, supplements, vitamins, essential oils, and foods. And also now with pulses and pulse-type ideas. You can access me by going to my website at augmentinforce.com. AUGMENTINFORCE.com. I do personal consultations as well, whether through the internet, through the IMs, phones, personal visits, as well as in-house workshops for families, individuals, or groups. But on my webpage at augmentinforce.com, I have a link there, a catalog link. When you click on that link, you see a whole host of things that are there. You'll see t-shirts, you will see buckets, you will see triangles, you will see repulsors, you will see, or pulsers, you will see grounding straps, you will see remedies of all sorts, books on DVDs, a flash drive, a full-on library database on how to get through things that has videos, radio shows, interviews, books, the 3 books I put out, and databases, huge databases on homesteading, foxfire, survival stuff, and farming, all in one. So again, if you're interested, feel free to give me a shout at 519-977-5351 or contact me via email independs@yahoo.com. I also do consultations as well, whether over the phone or through the internet. So, if you have any questions or comments you'd like to make on the show, feel free to do so in pertinence to the content of the show. Number is 208-935-0094. And we're back, and again, today's date for part 2 is September 30th, 2017. And despite the world going to hell in a handbasket, we are still here. We're still here. You know, seriously, when you sit there and think about it, you know, under God's grace, we're still here. Sometimes I think we'd be better off gone, but we're still here. And that's a testament to those of us who are awake. You know, that's a testament to those of us who are awake, because we are working diligently in sustaining ourselves through these times of uncertainty. You know, the level of malevolence on this planet is just staggering. Just staggering. You know, when you look at all the things we got from corrupt politicians to pedophile activity and human sacrifice and human trafficking to, because I got friends of mine that make sure that I pay attention to this. I keep telling them I'm a herbalist. You know, and all the events of our food being contaminated and our bodies being, you know, rewritten, our genetic code being altered. It is a testament, you know, and hats off to everybody who's still functioning. I'm not saying you're 100%. Some of you may be. But for the most part, those of us who are still here striving to become whole again, or to renew ourselves, or to rebuild and restore, this is a testament to those of you who are doing this. And those of you who have been afflicted, it's not too late to reinitiate, rethink your thinking, to start recovering from whatever has made you fall. Okay, start off. If you wanted to make a great 55-gallon bucket with the copper nano bucket, what would be the electrical current needed? Well, how are you going to get in the bucket without breaking your leg? We already thought about that. Not a good idea. That bucket tips, you could seriously hurt yourself. There is a better way. We showed you the triangle. The reason why we showed you the triangle is because you can put that in the tub with you and move it around. You can put 2 of them in the tub with you. That isn't, you're not going to break your neck. You're going to be completely submerged in the tub, and it's safe. 55-gallon bucket, you're going to have to use a stand to get inside of it and a stand to get out. Getting in may not be a problem. Getting out is going to be, because your feet are going to be wet and you could slip. So again, ladder is not a good idea. Trust me, scrap the idea. It ain't going to work. You will break your neck. Again, not a good idea. Pull ladder, as soon as you put your weight on it, you're going to tip it. Not a good idea. Already explored those horizons. Not going to work. If you wanted to buy a horse trough, a zinc metallic horse trough, that would be better. We're going to be doing a video soon. Dave contacted me, so we're going to be getting together pretty soon. I'm going to show you some updated ideas how to even improve the power of your bucket, how to create a nano chamber, a chamber where you can lay into it and just get all chambered up and pop out the nano, and then show you how to make your own little EMP pulsar, where you can have it in your bedroom pulsing an EMF which can block the frequency. See, you need an EMF, or you need a magnetic field to block a magnetic field. Or you need shielding. The problem with shielding is you have to measure the field that you're being exposed to in order to come up with an adequate shield to block the frequency. And the thing is, you're being hit with so many different frequencies that even if you shielded your room and created a Faraday cage, you would still have to run an EMF outside the cage in order to maximize the protection, minimize the exposure. So this is something that you're going to have to consider. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about shielding, because 5G is... act as if 5G is already either in your state, province, or territory, or country. Act like it's already here. Because when it gets here, the activation of those frequencies with people with nano poisoning and nanobiology is going to be rampant. And people are going to be running their backsides to a hospital to get a vaccination in order to treat the nano, and it's just going to exasperate it even more. Would the EMF paint be strong enough? Not necessarily. Maybe, depending where you live, depending how many frequencies are going through, depending, again, if you've read the frequency to see if that paint will match it. I'm going to talk about that, and right now I guess I'm just going to get into it, because we're going to need to know how to defend. Now, your assignments, your homework assignments for the week is going to be go find patents, P-A-T-E-N-T-S, patents on how to shield against EMFs, how to shield against RFs, how to shield against ELFs, how to shield against any frequencies, how to stop an EMP. These are things you're going to need to have in order to build the ark you need to save yourself. God told Noah, build an ark. No, wipe out the planet. I don't know if he's going to wipe out the planet, but it's already crippled. And in order to save yourself against the onslaught of the flood coming in with frequencies, you're going to have to understand what they are, what they can do, and what you can do to protect yourself. If you are still thinking in the days of 1970, when I come through it, I'll remember you and I'll bring flowers to your grave, because you won't be around. You need to start thinking here and now how to protect yourself from frequencies, how to protect yourselves from magnetic fields, radio frequencies, AM and FM modulation frequencies, frequencies in general. All right, I'm going to read something from the Magnetic Shield Corporation documentation. I'm going to probably go through a good part of this today because I want you guys to start looking into this. You need to do it now. Actually, you need to do it 2 years ago. But now is just as good a time as any to get you started. And please don't write me and tell me that you can't do this because you're a woman, or you can't do this because you're not trained in this, or you can't do this because whatever. If you can read, if you can write, and if you can deduce 1 + 1 = 2, then you can do this. Now, some of this is going to sound technical. Start looking up the words, either online or in a dictionary. Okay? You can do this. I will try to get caught up this week with putting the shows up on my site so that you can access some of this information and start. Because usually I put comments and things, so that you can understand. Keep in mind, as I stated, we need to get on this yesterday. All right, what is a magnetic field? Typically, most people have been exposed to the phenomenon created when you lay a bar magnet on a table, place a piece of glass over it, and sprinkle iron filings on the glass. What turns up is a pattern of lines formed by the iron filings going from one end of the magnet to the other. Although a magnetic field isn't truly comprised of lines, the iron filings have a good visual representation of the bar's magnetic field. Okay, this is a good demonstration of one of the best magnetic shielding methods available. Okay, you may have also noticed that the further away from your magnet, there weren't as many lines, and close to the magnet, they were more concentrated. This is as good a demonstration of one of the best magnetic shielding methods available. That is becoming more and more arduous today, more and more difficult, because they're building towers everywhere. Now, if you're in the United States, you can go in to the internet, antennasearch.com, type in your address, and that'll give you a good indication of how many antennae are in your neighborhood or around you within a 4 to 10 mile radius. So I've had people tell me they have as many as 200 in a 4 mile radius. Talk about saturation. So this is why it's important that you understand the value of protecting yourself and shielding yourself from this type of genetic damaging frequencies, DNA damaging frequencies, DNA disrupting frequencies. Frequencies that can alter your genetic code. Frequencies that can trigger cancer. Frequencies that can shorten your lifespan. Accelerate your aging. And then they want you to take up components that have nanoparticulates in it so that the frequencies now can better activate your genetic code or your biology. Because you have a synthetic biology interfacing with your biology. Okay, move the source of the magnetic field away from the item to be shielded, or move the item away from the field. Even if it's not practical to remove the item from the field, any increased separation will lower the strength of the field to be added. You're looking again at the bar magnet. Imagine placing an item, something you wish to shield, into the magnetic field. Lines of iron filings. There will be a certain number of lines penetrating the item depending on where you place it. Now, if you were to leave the item at the same location but increased its size, the number of lines penetrating the object also increases. If you diminish the size, the field also diminishes. So, what this means that is even the strength of the magnetic field stays constant. Stays constant, the amount, because shields works by pulling the magnetic field towards them and away from what needs to be shielded. The magnetic field will actually become concentrated within the shield itself, but the field will still exist. So in other words, if we're going to get beamed with some kind of pulse, or an electromagnetic field, or any kind of low frequency, or even radio frequencies, which I'll get into in this article in a bit. If we have an object where the frequencies can concentrate instead of hitting you, it's going to direct it toward that component. At the same time, the field will still have a magnetic field to it, but it will be drawn to it rather than to you. Okay, because shields work by pulling the magnetic field towards them and away from what needs to be shielded. The magnetic field will actually become concentrated within the shield itself, but the field will still exist. If two magnets are close enough together to attract each other, and a ferromagnetic material is placed between them both magnets are now attracted to the shield. The net effect is that both magnets are still being attracted in the same direction prior to the shield being put in place. But instead of going to each other, it's going to that particular material. Now turn one of the magnets around so they are repelling each other, and then place the ferromagnetic material between them. Again, the magnets are attracted to the shield and will stick to it. So in other words, it doesn't matter if they're repelling or attracting. If you put something between them or in their path, it's going to attract to that material. With a thick enough piece of material, the poles may actually be directed facing each other. With a thinner piece, the magnets will be offset from each other, but will still stick to the shield. What is the difference between RF and radio frequencies and magnetic shielding? Radio frequencies shielding is required when it's necessary to block high frequency, 100 kilohertz and above interference fields. These shields are typically used as copper, number 1, aluminum, galvanized steel, or conductive rubber, plastic, or paints. These materials work at a high frequency by means of their conductivity and little or no magnetic permeability. Basically, they're rerouting the field or the frequency through the conductor. So when the frequency is coming at you, if you reroute it or have something in its path, it's going to redirect it somewhere else. This is why I tell people all the time, if you go to bed and you got your room shielded, wear grounding straps, because the grounding straps will redirect any field that you're getting hit with. It will hit you but take it away from you. So your body doesn't store it like a capacitor, causing more damage to your genetic code and your DNA. Okay, these materials work at high frequencies by means of their high conductivity, little or no magnetic permeability. Magnetic shields use their high permeability to attract magnetic fields and divert the magnetic energy through themselves. With proper construction, magnetic shielding alloys have the ability to function as broadband shields, shielding both RF and magnetic interference fields. So you can combine these materials like copper and iron, for instance, okay, or copper and galvanized steel, because if you put the two together, they'll block both the RF frequencies and redirect the magnetic frequency to the iron. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So again, my point here is that we need to know, we need to understand what we're going to be hit with. And with the 5G, you may have to even use grounds inside the home. House gets hit, you have a ground, it'll redirect it into the ground, and again minimize any damage being done to you. It might not be a bad idea to go back to a cable network system, because with a cable network system, the field is contained within the cable itself. So you might want to consider that. When I wear a breastplate or a chest plate on my chest, and what I normally do with that is I've got a copper and aluminum mixture. So what I've done is I've taken a plate of copper and I've wrapped it with aluminum, and I leave a little copper exposed, and the rest is wrapped with aluminum, and I attach that to my shirt with a magnet. Now what happens is when I'm in front of my computer and I'm getting hit with the radio frequencies from my computer or whatever, because I don't have Wi-Fi, but the computer itself can transmit a frequency, and that was also found in the patent. Look for that in the patent. computers transmitting frequencies. Look for that in your patents. Okay? You need to protect yourself from your technology. When you recognize what's going on, you may not be so crazy about Wi-Fi. You may want to go back to a landline system with your telephones instead of one of these, tower phones. Can grounding barefoot help? I guess it all depends where you are. If you're far enough north or far enough down south to the equator where you have minimal exposure to chemtrails and chemtrailing and towers and frequencies, maybe. But if you have a grounding strap, and you strap it to your legs and strap it to a direct ground in your home, it'll be the same as grounding barefoot on the earth, because you are sending whatever energy or any buildup in your system back into the ground. It does work. I sleep with 2 of them, 1 on each foot. And I got shielding, and I run an EMF in my room to block any frequency that might come through, that may still come through. It's not 100%, but it does make it does minimize it dramatically. So again, keep that in mind. Start thinking 5G today. Some of you are already getting on your cell phone messages saying that 5G is available. That means you're getting hit with frequencies at a magnitude that's beyond thinking. I had one person that went to Europe from the U.S., and she got over there, and she said when she got there, the 5G activated the nano inner. Where do we look for these patents? Go to Free Patents Online, www.freepatentsonline, or go to Google Patents, or just type in a search on the URL, patent search for whatever you're looking for. But those 2 links will get you a lot of information. Start paying attention. So again, start paying attention. You need to start studying. Okay? There's going to be a lot of gurus out there in regard to this topic. And a lot of them are going to, again, sell you. Okay? And they're going to sell you a lot of garbage. This is why I'm giving you the heads up to go and look for patents. Okay? And even when you read the patent, don't go crazy in building something large scale. Build a small scale model and see if it works. See if it works. Because some patents were just like anything else. Just like if you go to PubMed, there's a lot of studies on health in PubMed, but some of them are bogus. They were bought and paid for to be put into PubMed. They didn't have any value or reality to them. I always point out to the soy studies and the canola studies. Go look at them. They're all bogus, all of them. So again, you're either on the URL, and the URL is your universal locator, where you type in www. So in there you can type in Free Patents Online, one word. Okay, Free Patents Online, one word.com. Do a Google patent. So far, so good with that. That's one of the few things that Google does have. That's amazing. It actually works. Someone pointed out here, patents.gov. So take a look, see what you find there. I've never looked at that site, but someone just posted that in the chat room. And start paying attention. Okay, when they tell you they got some new and improved innovation coming on, you better start looking for an antidote right away. You better start thinking in terms of protecting your body right away, or protecting your system. You can't do anything outside other than wearing some kind of garments or materials that can deflect or redirect frequencies from directly hitting you. Not much else you can really do. But when you're in your own domain, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a house, trailer home, whatever, you can take steps to protect yourself while you're within your domain. Give an example of some of the things you can do. For instance, okay, let's say you don't want to nail anything to the wall. Or you don't want to put something on the wall because you'll have to take it down and replace it. Okay, so get a tarp. Get a couple tarps. Well, we'll come on back and we'll talk more about some solutions we can do after you station identification breaks. All right, see you in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pentelresco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Okay, someone gave me the .gov, so what I did is I went and typed in argininepatent.gov, and when it opened up, it gave me a whole list of places where I can look for arginine and the patents on arginine. Now, you can do the same thing. Type in, free patents online, and free patents online, and okay. Anyway, free patents online, and when you look at it, you can type in same thing, arginine, or patents on arginine, or do again you can go to Google Patents, and again type in whatever in regard to Google Patents. And again, it'll give you a whole list of things. Whatever like I said, I typed in argininepatent.gov, and it gave me patent number US 7777074 amino acid compounds, Google Patents. And again, it'll give you a whole list of things. So these are things that you can start looking at. Start and open and expand yourself. And then from there, you'll be surprised where one bit of research will, again, lead you to another and another. So again, when we're talking in regard to what we have to do, the technology coming out, okay, I don't get into philosophical, ideological ideals. We are not in charge or in control of coming up with clean and free technology that's going to be harmless to human beings. That is not within our realm of control. If we can come up with a better technology that can neutralize their technology, which is good, what would be better if we come up with a technology that we can utilize that's effective and efficient without causing genetic damage. That would be the superior thing to do. Right now, we have to look at how we're going to protect ourselves from the oncoming frequency attack that's going to, again, super accelerate the aging process and the damage being done to your DNA programming. You got a lot going on right now. You got genetics, you got transgenics, you got epigenetics, you've got nanobiology, synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, and when you're looking at the development of all these things and how they are all interrelated, how they are all interrelated. Okay, you are going to have to pay attention. Everything that you hear from the mainstream in regard to this science, in regard to almost any science, to be quite honest with you, is all going to be about how it's going to benefit humanity. I've been alive on this planet over 6 decades. I can tell you for the most part, everything that they've invented has had a backwash toward humanity. And it caused health issues. Expediency and leisure has had a price on our personal development, on our genetic code, on our DNA, on our mitochondria. All these diseases or these afflictions that we're feeling today has to do with an inundation or an overexposure of some component that is extremely toxic to us. The myth that they told us in the past was it's relatively safe. You'd have to take X amount of whatever component before it became poisonous. They never told us that it can be accumulative. Today you have a little damage, tomorrow you have a little damage. If the body doesn't repair that damage and it keeps on getting damaged repeatedly in the same manner, eventually your immune system does wear down. Eventually your immune system becomes compromised. Eventually your immune system starts to go in a downward spiral. Now in the last 5 decades, we have been constantly exposed to nanopoisoning. The organic was a big myth, huge myth. The nanoparticulates that were being exposed to just in the food supply alone is again astounding, to say the least. Now we have cancers that have exploded, autoimmune disorders that have exploded. Now we're having genetic damage that has already started back in the 70s. We talk about human sexuality, and we talk about how perverse sexuality has become because of the programming that has been put out there and propagated by the mainstream. When 1% of a population is getting 99% of the attention, the misleading thinking is that this is a very common thing. And it's not common. It's that it's just getting the higher level of exposure, giving you the assumption that this is common. The TV is the worst thing anybody could watch. This is one of those other innovations that was brought into our lives to ease our stresses and to, again, allow us to relax and unwind from our daily grind. But in reality, the television has become a means of propagating propaganda, means of distorting reality, means of creating an imaginary, fictitious concept in your mind that you think is real. How many people have listened to politicians or are listening to the politicians today? They are speaking from both sides of their arse. They say a lot and do so little. But you get the impression that they're doing something because they're out there every day telling you about what the problems are and that the government's agencies are looking into it. But is anything really getting done? No. It's the same thing with the medical, same thing with the health. How many times you see something on TV, a guy dressed up in a white coat and a stethoscope, and he's out there with this serious, staunch look, and he's serious about, do you need to take this drug and how this drug can help you, and blah 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 blah. And then when you go online and read some of the nightmares people are having as a result of vaccinations, provided you can find the information. See, this is the other thing that happens. 99% of the information that you should be seeing is hidden. It's buried. The old biblical adage, seek and you shall find. You're going to be looking a long time because you got to go through about 100 layers of yuck and muck before you get to the truth. And you've got to be persistent. I don't know how many times I've told people to go watch the video, Vaccinations, The Hidden Truth, done in Australia, using the American studies, and showed unequivocally how damaging and dangerous vaccines really are. And we're talking 1980. Today we're using We're using a nanobacterium to infect people. And you got a lot of the scientists, when you read the research, the scientists are dissuading that whole topic because they said there's not enough evidence. I mean, this is incredible. Science today is such a bogus ideal. Because real scientists has to examine everything. And to make an opinion based on what you don't have is no opinion at all. Pure speculation. And they're basing a lot of the scientific facts today on pure speculation. Nobody's testing anything, because if they test those relevant facts, they lose their funding. Their hierarchies and their supervisory panels tell them, you're not here to solve the issue. You are here to make money. And you are here to help us make more money so that you can keep your job. That's the reality. And you can look that up. There was actually a guy, a scientist, that came on the air or online years ago, and he worked for a place, and he actually discovered how to fix something that was supposedly, unfixable. They told him, they pulled him over to the side, said, you want a job here? And he said, well, of course. He said, well, you're not here to fix. You're here to help us gain funding. You know, how much money has the United States thrown at projects? I mean, the money that they have thrown at projects is astounding, because the government feels they have an infinitive amount of money that they can have at their disposal. You're paying for it. You know, same in Canada. Our government gives money away to countries that have been supposedly anti-freedom, anti-democracy, anti-Canadian, and our government just throws money at them, tens of millions of dollars. Canada does not have that kind of money to throw away at anybody. They don't spend it on Canadians. In fact, the Canadian who's of European descent is on the verge of extinction in this country, because they're not allowing Europeans to immigrate here, but they are allowing everything else under the sun to come here, with the idea of giving everybody an opportunity in these poor countries. In the future, in Canada, your children may not have another European to choose from. I mean, if they choose to choose anybody they want, that's fine. But the discrepancy that's going on in this country alone is an extinction of the European as we know it today. And this is all being done and propagated by them giving money to places that they shouldn't be giving money to, and again, spending gobs of money that, quite frankly, Canada does not have. So again, then it's reflective in our goods and products that we buy here, because now we're taxed to the hilt to pay for these donations to countries that are not so friendly. So the same thing goes on in the United States as well. And the money that's being spent on these projects, I mean, you think about it, just one thing alone. Muscular dystrophy. How long has that been going on? How many millions have they made on that? That should have been cured by now. Not happening. Cancer. Cancer was being cured back in 1902, 1904, 1910. They were curing cancer. C-U-R-E, cure. Today we have no cure. What happened? They could cure it back in 1902 and you can't cure it today? What happened? Did we become dumber over a century? Did we somehow lose what science was really all about? So even when you look at these patents, and I'm encouraging you to look at these patents, not so that you believe these patents. Some of them are credible. You'll have to determine this. But I want you to look at these patents so you start getting ideas, so you start thinking again. Okay, so you're not relying on one person to do all your thinking for you. I always, there's no saying over here, God gave you 2 hands, 2 feet, and a heartbeat. Get off your arse and do something. That's the way it works. To what he has is more given, provided he uses what he has. The more you develop, the more things will come to you. That's what I found anyway. So again, when we're looking at what we're doing today, what we need to do today is, first, we need to be informed. Secondly, we need to get active. In Biblical, it says he who just reads the word and doesn't do anything is useless. You got to be a reader and a doer of the word. So you got to do both. You got to read it, and then you got to apply it. If you don't read it and you don't apply it, where are you going? Nowhere. Any jackass can read a book. Look at all the certified PhDs we've got. They've read lots of books. What does it amount to? Nothing. So don't get caught up on the fact that our scientists are this or our scientists are that. Okay, a lot of times the science today is at best a fairy tale. When we start looking back in time even on remedies, things that were working like copper, iodine, turpentine, kerosene. Back in the past, they used these things. They were curing, C-U-R-I-N-G, curing, fixing, F-I-X-I-N-G, healing, H-E-A-L-I-N-G. All these things that were going on. Today, we are dealing with a whole different paradigm. Those things may not be as effective as they once were because of the nature of the de-evolution or the mutation that has been implemented in a lab and then released into the atmosphere or released into the water table. So we have to be smart about what's going on. And when we're talking frequencies that can attenuate or line up with your genetic code, line up with your DNA and activate a condition in your DNA, activate a cellular mutation in your body, activate a construct because of what's already inside of you, that's already integrated in you, then you have to start thinking in a whole different paradigm. Yeah, some of the things of yesteryear may still work, but they're going to work better if you add some other components or you use some shielding methods or you come up with an antidote to counter what's going on. Some of you are saying, well, I'm not that smart. Nobody is. But once you start and once you apply, you'll see how smart you will become. You'll see how you will evolve and develop. Like I said, you got 2 hands, 2 feet, and a heartbeat. Get off your arse. Turn the knob on the television to the off position or hit your remote and shut it off. Matter of fact, unplug the bloody thing. When you listen to the radio, turn it off. It's sending frequencies inside of your head, programming you. When you initiate these things, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You are going to have this quiet moment in your head. Quiet will actually be in your head. And you may not get used to it. Okay? You may not get used to it initially because you're used to noise. You're used to distractions. And then after a while, you'll see things come into your head, start playing all by themselves. Different things, violent things, sexual things, anxious things, fearful things. All these crazy things will come into your head. That's the program running inside of you. Okay. You need to learn to tame those thoughts. You need to recognize that those thoughts are coming from a program. You need to understand that you have been all your life in front of an idiot box turning you into a moron. I always say God don't make junk. You're made after His image after all. So He doesn't make junk. So start applying what you have. Be the person with the talents that made more. I'm throwing all these things out at you so that you can see it can be done. Okay? Start off a little at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay? Rome wasn't built in a day. So, and so you're not going to build it all in a day either. When we're looking at what we have to do today, start getting prepared. Look for the information. See what's being done. See how you can do it. So when we're looking at, what we are, where we're at today and what we're doing, again, start studying, start applying. Look up, like I said, frequencies, EMFs, ELFs, RFs. Check out what to do and how to shield. Look even biologically or physically. What do you need to take to strengthen your DNA, strengthen your RNA, strengthen your mitochondria? How do I protect my biology? Okay, these are things that you need to understand. Okay, you need to know, okay, I shouldn't be eating grains because the grains have been genetically or transgenically damaged. They've added nanoparticles in all the grains. So I need to stop eating the grains. I need to stop eating the breads. I need to stop eating the cereals. I need to stop eating the rice, the corn, the pastas. I need to stop eating things that are made from these products. So you have to recognize that we are exposed. So if you know these things have those components in them, and you know they're going to damage your genetic code, then you need to know how to stop these things. You not need to know how to stop. You need to know how to quit, and what you can do to again restore and rebuild. Things you should be eating that's going to be genetically supporting your system. This is key to your healing. This is so key to everything. You got so many things trying to damage your genetic code and your DNA. There is an affront on humanity like never before. Whether you want to call it a demonic influence, a satanic one, a Luciferian one, an alien one, an interdimensional one, whatever you want to call it, we are being affronted. Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay, before I go on, I'm going to get a little early on this so I can continue. We got the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Give them your support. Help them in their endeavor to propagate and promote the truth. Show them what you got. Give them what you can. Call them up and say, hi, how can I help you? I always state before, don't ask what your activists can do for you. Ask what you can do for your activists. How's that sound? Borrowing that from John F. Kennedy. Just modified it a little bit. Okay, you got two other activists here in Canada. GAG Canada, Bernadette Green, and Bye Bye Blue Sky with Susan Marr. Check them out. Check out their sites. Get some information. Look at what they've done. We did an interview with Bye Bye Blue Sky, so you can go on their site, look at the link. It's also on the YouTube. Two Guys Who Know Some Stuff by Susan Marr. Check it out. And again, give them your support any way you can. Call them up, say, hi, how can I help? How can we promote the message? How can we come up with solutions? That's a really good thing to say. How can we promote? How can we come up with solutions? Good idea. Then you got me down here at 519-977-5351 or independs@yahoo.com. We have a website. augmentinforce.com. In there's a catalog link. In that catalog link, you will find t-shirts, buckets, triangles, repulsors, grounding straps, books on DVD, singular or all together. You will find a flash drive, a 32 gig flash drive. It's a full complementary database library. It's got 4 humongous databases. It's got videos. It's got radio shows. It's got interviews, all wrapped up in one. I also do consultations as well, so feel free to give me a shout at, again, 519-977-5351 or contact me by email at independs@yahoo.com. When you get a chance, go to the site augmentinforce.com. Look, read, study, understand all those links on nano. A lot of reading there, a lot of information. You don't have to take it up all at once, but it will do you good to know your enemy and how to deal. Eventually, I'll start putting up their things on frequencies because you're going to need to know how to defend. Build your ark. And God will send them to you 2 by 2. You never know. You never know. But anyway, get involved. When we're looking at things that are in our capacity, you can expand your capacity by making yourself more aware. Don't run from the truth, run to it. Because when you run from the truth, you become more compromised. The moment you embrace the truth and embrace some realities, that's when you start to really wake up, and that's when you start to develop, grow, and evolve. We are meant to be more than what we are, but we have become far less because of what we have become dependent on. We have become dependent on lies and deception, and as a result of that, we have become more corrupt, or we've become more compromised. So it's time to drop that fiction that we're calling the truth today, and embrace the truth. And then again, work with each other. Not in a means of domination, but means of cooperation. You'll go a lot further in the cooperative than you will in the trying to be kingpin. That's the best information I can give you right there. And again, associate with people who are like-minded, who are awake, who are looking at trying to do something, or looking to get with people who can do something, looking with people who can be networked. You might be surprised at the friends you'll make and the connections you will make and the bonds you will form. You have no idea how that's going to be so important near the end. Alrighty, I guess that's it. So listen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me rant and rave a bit. And so again, we'll see you next week. But till then, your homework assignment is go look at the patents on how to protect yourself against frequencies. All right. Take care. Come up with some good ideas. We'll see you next week.